We're here with James Lee Taylor. Want to say hi to my fans and explain a little bit about yourself?
Hello, nice to be here. My name is James Lee Taylor. I'm an actor from London. I've been here for a year now in New York, and I'm playing the lead role as Nikola Tesla in a new off-Broadway show called Tesla. Yeah, the last 2 months have been a mountain to climb.
One thing I want to get into talking about is Tesla. Like, who was he, and why is that play important?
Of course. So Tesla, for me, I knew a fair bit about who he was.
He's a Serb American, right?
He was born in Serbia, but moved over here at age 27. He basically changed the world. I mean, this guy.
So
he
was an inventor, right?
He was an inventor. His vision for what he saw. I mean, like he was so far advanced on the people around him at the same time. He could build things in his head without even making them in real life. He could build them in his head, take them apart, deconstruct them, reconstruct them again.
What kind of things was he building?
From like
he did like motors, right? I was doing a little Google on him.
Alternating current, the motor, the X-ray, radar. I mean, this guy.
And he was back in the 30s or even before that?
Before that. He died in 1943 at age 86. Oh, he's through with that. Age 86. Okay. So he died in 1943. But he moved over here in sort of early turn of the century. His vision and foresight was unlike any other. He saw the mobile phone and the internet 100 years before.
Did this make him alienated from those times? Because sometimes when people have that kind of power, it makes them a little crazy.
I don't think he was crazy. I think he was very focused. He was a showman.
So he was successful in his life?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, he wasn't a great businessman in a sense. He didn't want the financial rewards that, say, J.P. Morgan or Edison did at the time, or modern day businessmen. His vision was making the world a better place, and that's what he strove for. That's what his struggle was. I wouldn't say he was crazy. I wouldn't say he was crazy at all. He was very focused. When he was on stage doing his, the equivalent now of like holding a stadium, being like, guys, I'm going to now fly, and then doing it.
Like an early entrepreneur.
I mean, this guy, what his ideas and his visions were back then were that far in advance to the time and the period. That people couldn't comprehend what he was saying.
And now the play explores that?
It does. So, like, obviously...
Are you Tesla in the play? Or?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm the lead.
So you're the guy?
Yeah. So I try and encapsulate and capture and bring to life the truth of that and the scenes where the play starts to be coming to America and my working relationship with Edison, and then goes on to...
Edison tried to stop AC, right?
Edison had DC.
And he didn't want the AC, right?
Of course not. If you've got something that works really well, why would you? Or in fact, it didn't work very well. If you've got a product that everyone's buying and someone comes on with a better product, you don't want them to succeed with a better product because it means you get a business.
Did you know that he invented the electric chair for that? And the first one they did went horribly wrong with DC.
Well, he used alternating current. That's in the play.
Oh, that's what he did. Okay.
He got hold of Tesla's motors.
Okay. And then it went wrong, right? There
was a whole battle of the currents thing where he tried to sort of like discredit Tesla's alternating current. Tesla was working in Westinghouse at the time. The play covers all that. But back to the first question, Tesla, he was a showman, and when he was on stage, like he loved the limelight and I liked doing his stuff. Privately, it was quite he was very his circle of friends are very tight, and no one really knows the inner workings of his private life. We've found.
Does the play explore that?
It does to an extent.
Is there love in the play? Does he fall in love?
There's love in the play, but it's a love that couldn't ever blossom. His greatest love was to his best friend's wife. So he never, as much as he wanted to be.
So he's a little bit tragic. There's some conflict there.
Yeah, there's some conflict there with that. But it captures that. But it takes you on a journey. So it starts with coming to America. It then goes on to his dealing with Edison and his trying to get his message across and trying to show Edison, I have this great thing, I have this great product, and if you believe in me, we can power the world. But of course, Edison didn't want that. And then it goes on to Westinghouse's relationship with him about how excited he was to get his invention with the Niagara project, with the first ever alternating current power station. And then goes through to sort of being on stage at the height of his fame. Gentlemen, this is what I do. This is what I can.
Did he live in New York? Or?
He did. He lived in the Astoria Hotel, which is now where the Empire State Building is.
Okay.
And the last 10 years of his life, he lived in the New Yorker Hotel. time. There was times he was in Colorado experimenting in it, but the majority of his life, he was American by the end of it. You know,
So what is the journey that it takes the audience on? You're talking about it's his vision?
His vision and his life, really. Him coming to America, his dealings with Edison, his dealings with Westinghouse, and then the height of his fame, his love, or his failed love for the woman he couldn't get, the unobtainable, and then on to J.P. Morgan and his demise, almost, where J.P. Morgan he had to go for him for the lack of money, for the funding to build his wireless transmission tower, and then Marconi, his battle with Marconi. Stealing his ideas, getting the recognition for the radio, which actually was Tesla's.
So a lot of people were stealing his ideas?
Always.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was stolen from him. I mean,
No copyright back then, right?
That, and also he wasn't the smartest in that way. He wasn't focused in that way. He didn't need to lock it down. He wanted to give to the world. He wanted to make the world a better place. Mm-hmm. And really, that's just a shame because he died penniless, and even with his tower, Morgan backed Marconi in the end, and Marconi was using and were credited for the radio, which 6 months after Tesla's death was put back to Tesla's creation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he got the patent back.
And where's this play performing?
It's a theatre 80 on St Mark's Place, so down the East Village.
Oh, really? That's not where I live.
It's a beautiful theatre. It really is. We found
St. Mark's Theatre?
It's called Theatre 80 on St.
Oh,
Mark's.
okay, yeah, right.
It really fits the time period of the play. It's a beautifully designed theatre and building.
And the preview's the 23rd?
We preview 23rd, and the opening night's 24th, Friday 24th.
And what time is it? Like 8 o'clock?
So it's 8 p.m. shows, and we run until June 8th. We're dark we have one Sunday matinee, and then we're dark Monday, and then the following Monday, Tuesday, and then we're open every other night.
So tell me a little about you. So you're from England, you're from London?
I'm from London. I'm 27. I moved
How
here.
long have you been here for now?
A year. I moved here last July.
So what brought you to New York?
I started acting in London, and I was
the West End?
No, I acting just training. I was a model before.
Okay.
I modeled for 10 years, doing a list as long as you're on. 10 years, from 15 to 25. And then my father was a comedian, so I grew up watching my dad on stage the whole time, and sort of I always thought about doing film and TV. That's what I envisaged myself.
I like the British humor, like Shameless, like the British.
Yeah, of course. So doing theatre, it's almost like carrying the family baton down. Like when I saw my dad on stage, it's almost now like doing the same thing. Almost like my dad flies in next week, and I can't wait for him to see the show.
He's going to see the opening too?
Yeah, my sister arrives from Australia tonight, and then mum and dad are
Australia, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, so you're all over.
Of course, we're family spread out. And then so I started doing it in London, and then I decided that I needed more, and I moved to New York to Lee Strasberg Acting School, which is a real eye opener. It really opened my eyes.
That's the method acting, right?
It is.
How do you find that? So you draw upon your experiences?
I mean, I'm still learning it. I mean, you learn every day. There was a quote that was thrown to me yesterday. The quote is, every time I think I've got it all figured out, I realise that I haven't got it figured out at all. And even with rehearsals, one day it'd be great and you'd be on it and you'd be fine. The next day you go in and you'd be like, oh god, I haven't got it today. And the next day I'd be sort of like, okay, I just about got it. And next day, brilliant again. It's a real, and the same with the learning with method acting. The principles I understand, but it's playing with it every day and the logic. We substitute a lot of things in. So I think of things in my life, experiences in my life that have happened, which I could draw to and use in this scene. So for
right,
the love
so you're always learning about that. I've heard from the people that study that method.
Of course. So for the love scene, I envisaged my ex-girlfriend. If I saw her again today, the love of my life. If I saw her again today, if that was you there, and she popped up and
That's nice that you have pleasant memories of my ex-girlfriend.
More with this one, particularly the one I'm using for this one. More than that
way.
More that one. More sort of like if I saw you again, I wouldn't mess it up this time. More sort of like Catherine. I wish it was different.
So what kind of roles do you like to play?
I love it. Yeah, it's been such a learning curve. This year has been like an explosion of learning and inspiration, and I'm still quite new to it all, but I embrace it with both hands, and I've run with it, and it's been an explosion. It's happened so fast.
Do you like a lot of off-Broadway plays, or?
This is my second play. Second one as the lead as well.
And you find the theatre scene in New York very dynamic?
I love it. It's great. I mean, in New York, it's the city of dreams. It's the land of the golden promise. If you dream it and you work hard enough, it comes true. I really been very fortunate. I worked very hard, and and the rewards are there.
And you actually live in Manhattan?
I live in New York. I live in Soho.
Because I guess London's even more expensive than here, right?
I don't know about now, you know.
'Cause I used to go over all the time to see the Grand National.
Right.
Like my dad's like a horse gambler.
Okay.
So we'd fly into London, take the train up,
Yeah.
just a little bit outside Liverpool, and then come back, and then always go see plays and stuff.
Okay.
It was really expensive, as I remember.
I think more now. I think it's not it's more balanced. In fact, I think here, I mean, the rent here is more expensive. I live in my apartment's about as big as this sofa.
Right.
But I think but being in New York, it's got some energy about it. It's got a real like go out and get it attitude. In fact, the weekend I was reading my lines the weekend and working, and like I'd go to a restaurant by my house every night and sit there at the bar for one, and all these cute couples and girls are coming in, and you're sort of like I must be doing something wrong because I'm sitting on my own doing sort of like reading my lines all night. But if you're dedicated, if you're focused and you're dedicated, things.
Right. So developing your craft.
I've never worked harder in my life at anything.
Do you see yourself writing plays down the road, or?
I actually write. I not play so much. I write a boy's version of Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh, okay.
Basically, make everyone laugh, let you laugh with them. Very humble, very honest, very open, which people can sort of familiarise with and sympathise with. But very open. And I say things that very not in a detrimental way or in a sexual way, more just.
Do you bring like a British sensibility to it?
I do, completely. It's a male Bridget Jones, and I fit that mold. I mean, outside work, I'm clumsy and I love making people
Do you
laugh.
see yourself getting into film, or?
Yeah, that's the next step.
That's the next
Completely.
step. We're going to go out to LA. That'd be a lot different than Manhattan.
I think so. I think so at some point, if I'm allowed to go. It's obviously been great here, and I've got some great bonds here, and it's progressing. But it's a gamble. But then you have to gamble in life if you want to.
Now, do you do social media? Can people find you on Facebook
I do.
or Twitter? Or?
I have all the above. My Twitter is @JamieTaylor, which I tweet regularly. I have Instagram about Jamie Taylor too. I write for a magazine in London called Article Magazine.
Do you have a Facebook fan page, or?
I have James D Taylor official, and my blog, which is JammyTaylor.com, JammyTaylor, and that's where I write my stories on. So I love making people laugh. Nothing makes me happier. Like if I can focus and
What kind of stuff do you blog about?
I write my stories. So
Okay,
from work
stories.
from work to observations to living in New York to travelling to, I write. There's one chapter called "Stop Being a Pigeon," about chasing too many girls, and rather than getting the one you really want, you're chasing everyone like a pigeon. When you need to be more like an eagle, and you sort of soar up high up above until you see the one you really want, then you swoop down and get it.
That sounds really cool.
There's one called Big Time Brian about going to castings, or going to modelling jobs, and you're on the job, and there's another male model on the job, and they love Brian, but James. Yeah, don't look at camera, James. Look out to sea. Brian, fantastic. We love what you're doing, Brian. Great. James, don't look at camera. Yeah, look out. In fact, James, come out of the shot. Brian, great. And sort of, the other model. And then on the plane home, just from being polite, I get upgraded to the plane, and then the client and Big Time Brian come on, and walk back down to a sort of like, hi, shall I send some champagne down? Oh no, So it's sort of very humble and very honest and very open things about a variety of different things.
So great. So thanks for coming on Videopoem. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you very much, and hopefully see the shows very soon.
Oh yeah, I'm going to come down.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.